So let's discuss about the general form of a circle. Before that, let me state the standard form of a circle. So if we have a circle having a center which is given by the coordinate h comma k and a radius of r, then the equation x minus h whole squared plus y minus k whole squared equals to r squared. This gives us the standard form of a circle. The general form of a circle is given by x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2 times fy plus c equals to 0. Now, this general form of an equation of a circle, it stems from the standard form of a circle. So let's try to first rewrite this particular general form in the standard form. All we have to do is first write all the terms containing x. So we have x squared plus 2 times gx. And then we are going to add all the terms containing y. So we have y squared plus 2 times fy. Now we are left with a constant c. So which we'll do, we'll transpose it to the right hand side. Now our task will be to convert x squared plus 2gx to a perfect square. And similarly, we'll also convert y squared plus 2 times fy to a perfect square. To do that, so let's begin. We have x squared plus 2 multiplied 2. So we'll write for x first, followed by g. So this number g is going to tell us that we are going to add g squared to the equation, and we are also going to subtract g squared from it. So that's an extra term we are adding and subtracting. Now, coming to the second part, which is y squared plus 2fy, we have y squared plus 2 times y times f, and we're going to add f squared to it and also subtract f squared from it. So this will be equals to negative c. The reason why we added and subtracted an extra part in each of the two cases is because now, if we look at the first three terms, x squared plus 2 times x times g plus g squared, this has the form a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. And what is this? This is nothing but the expansion of a plus b whole squared. That means we can compress it and write it as x plus g whole square. Similarly, we can combine y squared plus 2 times y times f plus f squared to get y plus f whole square. Then we have those extra terms that we subtracted, negative g squared and negative f squared. We will transpose it to the right hand side. So we have g squared plus f squared minus c. Now let's finally write it in a more suitable form. That means we have x plus g. We can also rewrite it as x minus of negative g whole squared plus y minus of negative f whole squared equals to, what we'll do, we'll take the square root of g squared plus f squared minus c. That's the constant term, but we don't have the square root here, so to get rid of it, we'll take the square root. The reason why we wrote in this particular fashion, now we can compare it with the standard form of a circle. Now we know that in the standard form of a circle, the center, so let's write it down here. The center is given by the coordinate h comma k, and our radius is given by the letter r. So if we compare it, so here we see that our center of a circle, if we are given the general form, then the center is going to be negative g comma negative f, and the radius is going to be square root of g squared plus f squared minus c. Right? Now that means now we can use the general form. So that means if we have a circle whose general form or the general equation is given by x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals to 0, then the center of this particular circle is going to be given by the coordinate negative g comma negative f, and the radius is going to be square root of g squared plus f squared minus c. Now there is also another way of writing the center. The center can be also written as, so if we see we have in the center the x coordinate is given by negative g. Now we can also rewrite it as negative half times coefficient of x. Coefficient of x, comma, and the y coordinate will be negative half times coefficient of y. This will make sense in a moment. Now see, if we look at the general form of our equation, what is the coefficient of x? Not the x squared, only the coefficient of x that we have to take care of. So it's 2g. The coefficient of x is 2g. If we multiply it with negative half, so this will become equals to negative g, and negative g is nothing but the x coordinate of our center. So this is another way of writing the same thing, and it becomes easier to remember also. All you have to do is take the coefficient of x from the general form of the circle and multiply with negative half. Similarly, we'll take the coefficient of y and multiply with the negative half. And then coming to the radius, so our radius will be given by, so here we have square root of, since we have g squared is nothing but we'll take half of coefficient of x whole square, so that's g. So g squared plus half of coefficient of y whole square, and from it we are going to subtract the constant term, that is c. So this is another way of finding out the radius. And if you want to remember it, also you can also use negative sign. That's fine, because squaring it is going to make it positive, so it's not a big problem even if you use the positive value as well. So this is how we can find out the center and the radius of a circle whose general form is given to us. So let's try this idea with the help of few problems. Problem number 1, we need to determine the center and the radius of a circle whose equation is given. So let us begin. So here we have the equation of the circle. We have x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 equals to 0. That is very simple. So all we have to do is find out the coefficient of x. So coefficient of x is negative 6 and coefficient of y is positive 4. So that means the center will be, all we have to do is take the coefficient of x and multiply it with negative half. So negative half times negative 6, and the y coordinate will be, we'll take negative half and multiply with the coefficient of y, so that's 4. So that means our center comes out to be, so negative half times negative 6 becomes positive 3, and negative half times 4 becomes negative 2. So this is going to be the center of a circle. And let's also find out the radius. So our radius is going to be, so we'll have to take the square root. Within the square root we have to take half of the coefficient of x, so that's negative 6. Whatever comes the value, we'll have to square it and then add it to half times coefficient of y, so that's 4. We'll again have to square this value as well, and from it we're going to subtract the value of the constant. The constant is negative 12 here. So let's solve this. This is going to give us, we have square root of, so half times negative 6, so that's negative 3. Negative 3 squared is going to give us 9. Plus half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Then we have plus 12. The 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 12, that's 25. So we have square root of 25, and that 25 being a perfect square, our radius comes out to be equals to 5. So this is going to be the radius of the circle, and the center of our circle has the coordinate 3, negative 2. And if you want to go the other way, if you want to compare it with x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. So here we can find out the value that 2g is equals to negative 6. So solving for g, we get g equals to negative 3, and then we have 2f becomes equals to 4. So f will be equals to 2. So our center, which is given by negative g negative f, this comes out to be equals to negative of negative 3 becomes positive 3, and we have negative 2. So we find out the same value for the center, and the radius, that will be equals to, we'll have square root of g squared, so the negative 3 squared will be 9, plus square of f, so that's 4, minus c. So our c value here, c comes out to be equals to negative 12. The negative of negative 12 becomes 12, and this is also giving us the same value of 5 units. So let's go to the next problem. So problem number 2, we have another equation of a circle. So let's begin with the equation. We are given 2x squared plus 2y squared plus 3x plus 4y plus 9 over 8 equals to 0. Now, if you recall, in the general form of a circle, we had the form x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2 times f times y plus c equals to 0. Now here, the coefficient of x squared as well as the coefficient of y squared, they are both 1. But in our case, we have a coefficient of 2. So we have to get rid of that coefficient. Since the coefficient is 2, all we have to do is divide each terms by 2. So dividing each terms by 2, we get x squared plus y squared. So 3x will become 3 over 2x plus 4y. So 4y over 2 will become 2 times y plus, then we have half of 9 over 8. So that becomes 9 over 16. So that's equals to 0. Now let's find out the coefficient of x. So coefficient of x, that's equals to 3 over 2. Then we have coefficient of y, so that's equals to 2. And then we have the value of the constant c, so that's positive 9 over 16. Fine. Now we can easily find out the center. To find out the center, all we have to do is multiply the coefficient of x with negative half. So we have negative half multiplied to 3 over 2. And the y coordinate will be negative half multiplied to coefficient of y, which is positive 2. So let's solve it. This comes out as negative 3 over 4, comma, negative 1. So this is going to be the coordinate of the center of the given circle. Let's determine the radius. So our radius comes out to be equals to, so in the radius, we have negative half. Let's take negative half. It's not going to be a big problem. Negative half times coefficient of x, so that's 3 over 2, and then we have to square it. Add it to negative half times coefficient of y, so that's 2, square it. And then we're going to subtract the constant term, which is c, so that's 9 over 16. So let's find out this value. So we have square root of, now we have negative half times 3 over 2, so that's negative 3 over 4. So when we square it, negative 3 squared will become 9, 4 squared will become 16. So 9 over 16. Then we have negative 1. The negative half times 2, so that gives us negative 1. Negative 1 squared will be positive 1 minus 9 over 16. So 9 over 16 gets cancelled out. We have square root of 1. That gives us a value 1. Now that means the center of this particular circle is going to have the coordinate negative 3 over 4 comma negative 1, and its radius is going to be 1 unit.